Hey, Giant Builders. So I really love today's guest for two reasons. First off, he's going to share with us how he might be a little different, but also he made me realize how we need to just treat everybody with love and inclusion. So let's meet Sam.
Building spirituality, family, health, and business. This is the Giant Builders with Lois Wyant.
Welcome, Giant Builders. I hope your week has been wonderful, and we have this guest I've been really interested in talking to, and I'll share why. Hey, Sam, how are you?
Good. How about yourself?
All right. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about you and what you do?
Yeah. So what I do is I run a podcast called Autism Rocks and Rolls. It's a podcast about autism and how we cope with daily struggles that you may or may not understand. Through the podcast, it's grown so much. I developed sponsors, a board of 8. I also am an event planner. I plan events in Indiana, which is where I'm from, and with the non-profit. And I also do speaking engagements. I've spoken in Oklahoma, Orlando twice, Canada 3 times, Stuart, Florida, and Washington, D.C.
Oh my goodness, we have a pop star here. That's awesome. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I ain't no pop star. I ain't going to be singing Lady Gaga anytime soon.
That's a good point. I used the wrong terminology. We have a celebrity in front of us. So tell me a little bit about your journey as far as what are the challenges with having autism?
Oh boy, there's a lot. So one of them is we have foot and mouth syndrome, as I like to call it. We have very sensory overload, which means very sensitive feelings. So mine comes with being sick and t-shirts getting wet. I'm not a fan of my t-shirts getting wet. I don't like certain clothing. I have anxiety real bad. And then let's see another challenge here I can think of off the top of my head here. And then here and there, we don't do plan Bs. I have a trouble time with socializing. That's the biggest one. I have a hard time with conversations and non-speaking communication. So like eye rolls, facial expressions, body language.
Oh, that was really good. All right. So okay, so I have a grandson who is 4 and he was recently diagnosed with autism. So I'm hoping you'll help me understand how to help him through things. So what was the hardest part of getting through elementary school?
The hardest part was seeing that at first what I was doing wasn't what everyone else was doing. I was thinking, why is no one else liking professional wrestling? They should. I'm a big wrestling geek, but no one else did. Then I got the diagnosis, and it made sense. Now we know why I am like the way I am. It's a medical condition. Although it helped, unfortunately, I still got bullied, dealt with exclusion, pushed to the side. And what did I do, honestly? I didn't know what to do because I just was this odd duck trying to fit in when I couldn't.
So looking back, do you think there was anything that you think now that because you're in college now, right? Okay. So thinking back to elementary school, is there anything that you would have done differently?
I mean, maybe try to follow along with the herd. I did one time when I was in 3rd grade or 4th. Beyblades were popular, and I got a Beyblade, and I liked it.
Okay. Sometimes following the herd's not much fun, though, is it?
Yeah, some of these trends I see the children are doing are completely stupid. I mean, drinking Tide, really?
Oh, yeah. Where are these kids? I don't know. So how's college life for you?
Oh man, I dig it. What I like is the fact that when you're in school, people pay attention to every part you're doing. When you're in college, they're not paying attention to every part of your life you're doing. They might pay attention some, but not as much as school.
Okay. And so how hard is it, or is it challenging to sit in classes or take notes or do anything of that nature?
So what an ideal classroom looks like for me is I sit in the front row And what I just cannot do is take notes and listen to a lecture at the same time. So what I just have to do is not take notes. I refuse to.
So do you record the lectures or you just retain everything?
I just have to do my best to retain everything, and if it gets really bad, I'll just record it.
Okay. All right. Do you have any things that like, okay, for example, my grandson who's 4, he loves space. He loves the planets and all those things. Do you have things like that that you find most interesting?
Well, I can relate to your grandson there because mine was the moon.
Oh, okay.
But the biggest one's wrestling. I always loved rock and roll music growing up. Let's see. I always liked Papa Roach, AC/DC, Nickelback, Elvis Presley, Motley Crue, Metallica,
Well, those all sound great. What are you studying in college?
broadcasting.
Oh, well, that works well into your podcast, doesn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So when you go to prepare for like these presentations, like you've done all these speaking engagements, is it overwhelming or how do you feel when you get ready to do something like that?
Well, it don't bother me much because what I'm usually expecting is to get booed. Unfortunately, I've been booed so many parts of my life that I can now brush it off. But I realize I don't get booed, but I have to expect it if you want me to do it.
Tell me about getting booed. What does that mean? I don't understand.
Oh, okay. That just means hearing most of my life negativity.
Okay. Oh, that's really hard. But
Yeah.
yeah. So was that like through school or
Yeah, that was through school. Got
yeah.
poked in the back with pencils for no apparent reason. Let's see. I got called dumb pretty much for doing nothing.
No, I'm so sorry about that. Did you have any extracurricular activities that you were involved with?
Media club, and that's how I found the podcasting. That's what I knew. I had to do something with this. I didn't want to wait till college to expand my media skills, and that was when Autism Rocks and Rolls was born.
Oh, great. And what kind of information do you share on Autism Rocks and Roll?
Well, some behaviors. Sometimes I'll do interviews. I've interviewed a lot of people. America's Got Talent contestants, American Idol contestants, professional wrestlers, actresses, a race car driver with autism, people from the Food Network. And then sometimes I'll compare something to autism. So I've compared, out of everything in this world, Scooby-Doo to autism, airplanes to autism, and then I played a video game once upon a time in my adulthood called Red Dead Redemption, and I compared that video game to autism.
So give me an example of sharing Scooby-Doo to autism. I loved Scooby-Doo.
Well, one of the things was what morals you could take from Scooby-Doo. One of those was, as you could tell as you gotten older, Scooby-Doo has a speech impediment. Instead of saying "uh-oh," it's "rut-row." But they still love him regardless.
Oh, that's good. I've researched some really amazing people who have been diagnosed with autism. And I find it very intriguing, like, people like Albert Einstein, Anthony Hopkins, Charles Darwin, Dan Aykroyd. I mean, these are some people who are extremely famous and just really made a difference in the world. And I think that people don't look at the fact that how talented autism people are. And obviously you're very talented because you're sharing your podcast and you're sharing with people the struggles that you've gone through and just the importance of understanding that you have some differences.
Right, right. But it's still frustrating. I have to get overlooked a lot of the times.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. So do you have any other, like, okay, my grandson has, like you said, you have problems with like certain clothing. He has certain problems with foods, Do you have foods that like you do not like because of either the texture or something of that nature?
Yes, it's probably onions.
Onions.
I don't know what the deal is, but I think onions taste like paper, and I'm surprised people like onions. Apparently, people like to eat paper.
Not like putting paper on your pizza.
Or on your burger.
Yeah, that's really good. Is there anything that you think that would help people interact with you better or people with autism?
Try your best to follow along with the conversation. We have one idea, but also let us in. Give us a chance to try to fit into the group, and even if we don't, take us in at least. A lot of times with these friends I got in college, I am quiet because sometimes I suck at socializing. But do they let me go still with them to go get pizza or celebrate their 21st birthday? Yes. I say it's because we had a friend recently. We took him out to dinner to celebrate his birthday.
Well, that's very special. That's a good
It,
point.
it's a very special one because he was turning 21.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that people who are even shy sometimes get the same reaction from people. Because
Right?
I
I would say I'm shy. It's just that I don't know what to say.
yeah.
And I'm the person who says something when it needs to be said. Otherwise, I'm very quiet. I'm not going to say something for the heck of it.
Oh, that's wisdom. I wish a lot of people would use that kind of philosophy. So are there particular books that you like to read?
I'm not really much of a book nerd. There's one book I like that's called Lord of the Flies. That was a cool book.
That's cool. Do you have any like, do you like to play instruments or anything of that nature?
No, but I'm taking an audio recording class, and there's literally for mainly music majors. But I think it's working on like the sound effects of someone being on stage.
Oh, well, that sounds cool. So what do you think life looks like for you after college?
I'm not for sure. There's definitely some possibilities. This could be a full time job. I could probably be working for WWE with the commentary. I might be working at Monster Jam where they're doing the interviews. I could also be working at a small town radio station where I did my internship. I loved it so much I thought about coming back.
Oh, that's cool. Would you use your real name or are you going to create a stage name?
I'll use my real name.
Okay. Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. Any closing thoughts? Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I remember something. You're putting a book together.
Yes, we have a book. We're looking for a publisher. We're also doing modules for parents, and those are in the infancy stages.
Well, tell me about your book.
Well, the book is called Journey. It's about her touring as a park ranger because that was her fixation growing up was trees, animals from the wild. But as she's touring, she's having flashbacks from her childhood about lessons she learned through nature.
Oh, give me an example of a lesson that she learned.
Let's see here if I can remember. I think one was caterpillar. She had a caterpillar on her finger and she showed everyone, and all the classmates are, freaking out. But she's like, what? Why do you guys not like caterpillars?
Yeah, people really are funny about things like that, aren't they? The beautiful changes, or the caterpillar changes into the beautiful butterfly, and that's just really something amazing.
It is.
Mhm. Well, I think you are going to be a beautiful butterfly.
Well, I appreciate her.
Any closing thoughts for our audience?
Well, I just think this isn't really words of wisdom. I think it's the truth. If the world could be nice and not be so stupid, don't you think we get along so much better?
Oh, that's very truthful. Well, Sam, I really appreciate your time, and I just really appreciate your insight and sharing with me, because I've been very curious as far as like the differences that people go through with autism and just ways to help them. And you helped me to see that I need to watch for people who are quiet and not being active and invite them in. And I wish that so many more people, especially in school, would do the same thing.
Yeah, the least you could do for your grandson is make him feel pretty safe at grandma's house.
No,
Make grandma's house a safe zone.
I will definitely do that, Sam. I really appreciate that advice. All right. Well, Giant Builders, thank you. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening. This has been The Giant Builders with Lois Wyant.